1 year after people called him a hero the night of the Club Q shooting, a Colorado Springs man is offering a safe space for his community.
We wanted everybody at the same table. And what better way to do that than with a beer and kind of some stimulating conversation.
She dedicated her life to helping others live better. Now the Latino community is coming together to honor a life taken too soon.
And once again, the NFL is looking to do a big hit by Kareem Jackson. We'll have the latest. 4 o'clock at 9 News starts now. 4 o'clock on your Monday afternoon, and it came and went, the special legislative session at the Capitol. Now over. A little more than an hour ago, lawmakers ended that session by passing some of the property tax relief they've been talking about. This following the failure of Proposition HH.
You're still going to have a higher property tax bill next year than you did this year. That increase will be reduced a little. Lawmakers met for 4 days. Democrats passed several bills without Republican support. The property tax bill will lower the increase in your next bill by making $55,000 of your home tax-free, and through a change in the math that determines your property's taxable value. It's a slightly bigger benefit than what was in Prop HH. The other big change is that Tabor refunds will also be issued next year equally and not based on your income level. Those are two changes that were rejected by voters with Prop HH, but passed into law regardless by lawmakers. 9 News political reporter Marshall Zellingers break this down for us and all the impact at 5 o'clock, because it is confusing.
A lot there.
And they've been meeting for days now, a few days, just a few. The victim of a murder-suicide in Northglenn was a self-proclaimed proud Chicana. She left a huge mark in Denver's Latino community.
Lucille Roybal was shot to death on Saturday by a man who then turned the gun on himself. She'd been a driving force in helping to provide health care for underserved communities and worked on the Chicano Humanities and Arts Council. Our investigative reporter Kevin Vaughn spent the day talking with people who knew her. He's now with us with more from the newsroom. Kevin?
Tim, Lucille Roybal's family identified her as the victim in this incident in the home she'd owned for a little more than a decade. She was remembered today as a resilient, driven woman who focused her work on trying to improve the lives of others.
This is what we had to work with.
The year was 1993.
It was a little 110-year-old North Denver bungalow.
And the idea was a big one. Open a clinic for people with limited access to health care. Jim Garcia needed help.
I was told that the person I should talk to is this woman named Lucille Roybal.
Lucille helped launch what became Tepeyac Community Health Center, one of her many passions.
She was just this incredibly vibrant person. You know, she was a professional photographer. She just enjoyed life. And
now, he and many others are mourning. A little before 9 o'clock Saturday night, police were summoned to her home. They found her and her longtime boyfriend dead, leaving a void in her community.
And she really was the type of person that would do whatever it took to improve people's lives. And she's going to be missed deeply by our community.
After opening in 1994, Tepeyac cared for a few hundred people that first year. When Jim Garcia saw Lucille for the last time last week, he gave her a tour of the organization's new clinic, where they'll eventually be able to see 15,000 patients a year.
I am starting to think about what we can do to honor Lucille's memory.
A place where she'll be long remembered.
It was people like Lucille that were it not for their efforts and their commitment, it would have been extremely hard to do what we did and to get where we are today.
Northglenn police confirmed that Lucille's boyfriend shot her, then himself. Family members told us that they were in the midst of a breakup. We talked to one of Lucille's sons this afternoon, and we'll have much more with him about his mother's life on 9 News at 5 o'clock. Tom?
Just starting to understand the impact that she had on the lives of so many, and then this as such a sudden and just a sudden violent end to her life. Hard to imagine for so many people.
The people that cared about her have been very emotional today as we've been talking to them about her life and the suddenness of her death.
We'll talk more about it at 5 o'clock. Thank you, Kevin.
We're going to take a live look outside at this hour on a Monday afternoon. Cold and dreary day, cloudy, a little rain, a little spritzy. But it sort of looks like, Kathy, the clouds are breaking up just a tiny
bit. Exactly. And Kim, the other thing people are talking about is the wind. While not super ferocious downtown, just a little bit to the south and to the east, it has just been whipping. And that wind is creating areas, believe it or not, of blowing snow across parts of Douglas County and Elbert County and out on the eastern plains, where they did get a light dusting of snow. Denver, more rain than snow as temperatures held in the mid-30s, just above the freezing mark. But in the high country, anywhere from about 4 to 8 to 10 inches of snow, and still seeing some snow coming down, but travel appears fine on I-70. It was chilly, kind of a raw day. Temperatures this hour in the mid-40s, and that is colder than average, as you might imagine. The wind's still going pretty good. Greeley, Kimball, out to Sterling and Akron. The gusty winds also driving some snow out that way, so travel out there has been pretty tricky. Our storm is pulling away, and wow, it's going to become a big problem for those traveling this week across the Central Plains and the Gulf Coast region, where they're kind of getting ready for a severe weather outbreak, believe it or not, in this late November time period. We're seeing the snow showers kind of come to an end from north to south, and as skies gradually clear tonight and the wind begins to ease somewhat, we will see a very cold night with temperatures in the 20s. So kind of a fast-moving storm system, but a couple of advisories that will hang on till 11 o'clock tonight in and around the Pikes Peak region and down toward Walsenburg, Trinidad, and Alamosa. So we do see a few leftover snow showers in the foothills and over the southern suburbs. Skies clear, temperatures drop. You wake up to sunshine tomorrow and a warmer day. We get a nice break for Tuesday and Wednesday. Things start to change for Thanksgiving and into that busy Friday, busy shopping day Friday. So we're going to cover all of that coming up in our main weather segment, but temperatures will continue in the 40s this evening as the storm moves out, but that Friday storm may bring accumulating snow to Denver, and we'll cover all that in just a bit.
There was new data released today. It shows at least 33 transgender and gender nonconforming people have been killed in the United States since November of last year, and of those, 26 were recorded this year. The Human Rights Campaign described their new report as an epidemic of violence. Their data also showed that most of the victims were under the age of 35. The aftermath of mass shootings often involves communities rallying together to help one another heal from emotional and physical wounds.
1 year after the Club Q shooting, 9 News reporter Nelson Garcia shows us the pain has evolved into something unexpected.
The sounds of rebuilding fill the space.
And now we have lights.
Of the new home of Club Q.
It's a good noise because things are happening and it shows work's being done, progress is being made, and that's all I really want right now.
Michael Anderson is Vice President of Operations, working to recreate the bar 1 year after the shooting.
To see this come to life is healing. It's cathartic.
He was bartending that night, the night 5 people were killed and 25 injured. Instead of reopening at the same location, the Q by Club Q will be housed inside the Satellite Hotel about 4 miles away.
Having this new venue is going to be a massive healing for a lot of people.
Healing for some, but not for Ashton Gamblin.
It's been a road. There's not anything to sum up how I've been, other than everything's just been chaos.
Ashton was working the door that night.
5 to this arm, 2 to this arm, and 2 to the breast.
She was shot 9 times and still struggles.
That's always an ongoing thing. Hasn't really quite ended for me.
Ashton doesn't want Club Q to reopen.
Nobody wants to party where their friends died.
At the old location or anywhere. She believes more of the donations collected over the past year should be used to support victims like her.
How much did you actually receive, and how much of that's just decided to go into a new bar for you?
People didn't donate for you to rebuild your bar.
Mason Camp was not there that night, but got the call the next day.
There was a shooting last night. Derek's gone, and we don't know about Daniel.
Derek Rump and Daniel Aston were 2 of his good friends.
But it's still been very difficult. It still doesn't feel real sometimes that they're not here.
Ashton and Mason both say the money is one thing.
I'm blocked by Club Q, as is my wife.
But the treatment is another.
I have a whole Club Q album.
Mason keeps a photo album on his phone called Club Q Drama of screenshots of messages that he says are from Michael and the club.
I'm glad to hear you don't intend to come back. You won't be permitted in the door.
They say these things are at the heart of a rift growing over the past year between Club Q and the local LGBTQ community.
And this could have been a huge opportunity for the community to really come together, to be strong, to support one another, to do all the things that you expect to happen.
We should have just been together for each other and working through whatever it is and lifting each other up.
Immediately after the shooting, there was unity like I've never seen. Shortly, maybe 2 months, 3 months later, you know, the community just, it was like a bomb went off and it just divided.
Michael says money has been dispersed, but Club Q is in a no-win situation.
Part of the reason we're here to do this is hopefully to build a bridge, hopefully to provide a new space for people to kind of mend those relationships and really come back together, unify again, and heal together. Because right now this community is equal to a snake eating its own tail.
But no matter how much work is done, Ashton and Mason say some things cannot be rebuilt.
At the end, it should always be about people and your community before your buildings and your things.
So nobody's thrilled about this reopen. We don't care for it. We don't want anything to do with it.
They don't want anything to do with the new club with Michael and the club's owner.
It is empty, and I hate them both.
1 year later, and some wounds just won't heal.
It has not been an easy year for anybody.
In Colorado Springs, Nelson Garcia, 9 News.
Michael Anderson says the Q will likely open up by the end of the year and says despite the frustrations, all are welcome. Aston Gamblin says she still has another year of physical therapy ahead of her. Mason Camp says the events of the past year have inspired him to be more active in supporting the LGBTQ community. There are resources available for anyone who wants or needs help. Colorado Crisis Services is available 24/7. Call 1-844-493-8255 or text TALK to 38255. You can also access resources through the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. You just dial 988.